Help inspire the next generation scientists. The Bill Rudy Rotary Central Science Fair, an intersection of young people in science. Rotary Central, creating hope in the world.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk Today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome and thanks. Another wonderful Wednesday as we invite you, or as they say in West Bay, we invite you to be a part of our discussion. If you want to know about where to find work, well, you're a job seeker, we'll tell you about it. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard.
And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much. It's always good to have a continued partnership with our various government entities, and whenever they reach out to us to assist the public in ensuring that their message is timely and accurate, we'll be happy. Well, wonderful lady, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. And how is everyone else?
See that? Mom always in the making. Well, I'm fine, thank you. And I was thinking earlier on week, planning today's show, and it's the notion of sharing information and making sure that people, especially at this time, gets us that space. And when we have agencies like work or fire, for instance, there are things that we can be proud of. There are people who are heroic in their daily lives and whose jobs have a purpose and are meaningful. So maybe there's someone out there who's thinking, you know what, I can do something and have that same impact. Well, as I asked earlier, obviously ladies first. So please, would you properly and formally introduce us and tell us why we're here, Mom?
Hi, my name is Denise Myers, and I am one of the program coordinators with WORC, Workforce Opportunities and Residency Cayman. And today, this afternoon, I'd like to talk briefly with the public about coming into their districts. We're having what is known as district days. Nothing new, something that has been happening over the years. But this year, it's special because we have joining with us the members from the uniform groups, such as the Regiment, Cayman Islands Regiment. We also have the Cayman Islands Fire Service. Not with us in the studio this afternoon will be the Cayman Islands Coast Guard, as well as the RCPIS. They will be with us. And so we want the members of the public to know what's going on and for them to come out and to join with us. And so this afternoon, we have with us in the studio here, we have Lieutenant Tyler Lawson, and he will be sharing a bit with us about just giving us an overview as it pertains to the regiment. And we also have the honor of having with us Mr. Henry Ebanks, and he's from the Cayman Islands Fire Service, and he'll be giving a brief overview also. As you know, part of our main reason for coming out into the districts at this time, it's to assist Caymanians who may have challenges, barriers in terms of, you have to register to access what we do at work. And so the challenge may be not having an access to a computer or just difficulty going online and registering with us, because in order to access our programs, in order to access our to utilize Jobs Cayman portal, and to receive assistance with employment and job readiness skills, you have to first of all register with us. And so we have invited the members of the uniform group because we want to also give some exposure and to make persons know what it is that they do and who to tell. You might be in the market right now just looking for a change of job or just looking for a job. And so hopefully something may resonate with you and you want to find out more. And we won't say everything here because we want you to come out to the district days.
Well, it's worth repeating, I think. But with that, Ms. Denise, you referenced the uniform services in a particular. Well, two questions. Will it be other entities represented or only the uniform services at this particular district days?
At this particular time, it will be just the uniform services. Last year, we did an expo around construction. This time, it's the uniform services that we are going to be highlighting, and hopefully it will resonate with some persons in the wider community.
And we'll get probably more as to what it is, because you mentioned the police as well as the Coast Guard are not present here. But why was and why is the emphasis this time on the uniform branch?
We are trying as much as possible to bring as much exposure to different areas, different sectors. So this time it's uniform group. Next time it will be another group, because we want persons to become aware of, what exists. And hopefully we'll find the right fit for someone at some time. So like last year, as I mentioned, we did construction expo, and this time it's uniform group. We're not leaving out anyone. As time go along, there'll be other groups coming on, but we want as much exposure as possible to members of the different groups.
And I can see an immediate benefit of when people who are coming out specifically looking at a sector, as the uniform services would be a sector, as the construction, maybe hospitality, maybe financial services, maybe other things, and having it. If I might though, but thank you for that, and we'll remind people of the dates. So through you, could I speak to the young charge of Miss Lieutenant Lawson? Would that be all right? How are you today?
I'm well, how are you?
If I knew we were wearing a uniform today, I'd put on mine, Oh, that's a costume though. It's the same thing, right? But job brings purpose, and sometimes when we come to the job, we looking for a purpose or a reason of being. The regiment, afternoon, how was it for you?
For me, it's been a long road so far, but it's also been challenging and rewarding in many ways. I've been learning a lot of new skills and taking on a lot of new challenges that I would have never took on in a civilian sector role. So I think the biggest thing for me is the new experiences and the new doors it opens up for you, whether that be working overseas, working with other agencies like fire service, police service, prison service, CIPS, Coast Guard. It's very broad, I think, not only the regiment, but the uniform services in general, and the interoperability of those services, the ability to work together is a key component to how the emergency sector in Cayman works, and I think that's one of the most interesting aspects.
Those new skills, if I might ask, what are some of those skills that you learn?
Absolutely. So the main one is in 2020, the officers at least get sent away to the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, and one of the first things that they teach you is serve to lead. So it teaches you about leadership and how you should lead others, what's expected of a leader, amongst a plethora of other interesting topics as well. But other than that, we also do urban search and rescue. So myself and another officer from the regiment have gone away to the Fire Service College in the UK, and we've done the urban search and rescue course just as a way to start building more resilience in Cayman, introduce more capacity building in terms of, obviously it does lie with the fire service, but it's a situation that requires a lot more hands than just what the fire service is able to handle on their own.
And this is where, not just leadership, mentorship, but also those skills that are transferable.
Absolutely.
You reference, working as opposed to the civilian sector. And in uniform, there is a level of discipline, military-like, that come to expect, of people. How was that for you?
I think it was pretty easy. The hardest component, I'd say, was definitely in the UK. We take a more relaxed approach in Cayman because we're not trying to build that same culture that they had in the UK. We're trying to build a more inclusive, a more accepting culture here, where we're not all over an individual, trying to tell them this and that, where it's more, we need you to do something, and we're going to treat you as like a civilized individual. It's not.
Well, I think, and I appreciate your reference, the sort of the fire service college, and with the greatest deference of all to any other sector, any other place. Our fire service, Mr. Ebanks, you guys epitomize service. You epitomize community involvement and engagement, and that level of true compassion. From answering the radio's back man, a boat in distress, you think, well, they're a fire service, the radio is up by the airport, but you respond to the bushfire where something just happened in the spark, to sadly so much more tragic things. For what it's worth, I think we, unlike that thing that has been said so foolishly, so often, so disrespectful, thank you for your service. Mm-hmm. With the greatest of love, respect, thank you all for what you do. I mean, it's an honor.
Yeah, well, thank you, Dwayne, and also thanks for having me here. Mm-hmm. I just want to say, fire department epitomizes teamwork.
Yeah,
it's no matter where you come from, you all have to work together to the common goal of serving the people of our country, and from very early on, that's instilled in you. The minute you walk in those doors at the fire department, you learn to teamwork. Depending on the next person, that person is depending on you. So, we also like to say we serve from a cat in the tree to a plane in the sea.
Yeah, or the cat behind the cupboard.
Yeah, behind the cupboard, that as well, yeah.
You must say that story. But this is that level of humility and engagement in the way you responded from way back, when as a boy running by the fire truck, to now seeing it come through, knowing that there is this big piece of machine coming behind you, but you guys still drive with attention, you still drive with respect, a sense of urgency, mm-hmm. but your demeanor, your presentation on the scene, that is commendable.
Yeah.
If I might though, as we go around the table, because this is where I think, Mr. Nees, we're seeing more and more people, what careers are there? And they may see just representation in uniform, but they might appreciate that you can be a fire officer and specialize in the aerodrome, for instance, or you can,
Yeah, and that's one of the things that, especially for youngsters these
mm-hmm.
days, that we want them to be aware of, that when we think of fire services, there are so many other careers that fall under that. When we think of the regiment, when we think of the Coast Guard, there are so many other areas that fall under that umbrella. And when we talk about, when Mr. Henry spoke about teamwork, and that's part of why we are here on the district days. We are forming an alliance. We're all becoming stakeholders as it pertains to reaching out to individuals in the wider communities. Mm-hmm. That's the intent behind all of this. Mm-hmm. So we are partnering together. And so what I will do is perhaps have the gentleman just briefly touch on, what are some of the areas, other career opportunities that fall under the regiment as well as the fire service, and not at the same time giving too much, because we want persons to come out and to find out more, and to ask those questions.
Well, what we'll do is first we'll take a break. Then we get a teaser. It's not that song. You ain't nothing but no, not that song. When we come back, Lieutenant, with you first, perhaps we can ask about the regiment, the different avenues to training, what it's like, and I think we'll all be honored and certainly enamored by the service, through Mr. Ebanks, what his colleagues, in the fire department are doing. So we talk about that when we return. To our listeners, please stay tuned. We've got to remind you when this district days commence, so you need to find out. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
As a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Hey Cayman, this is Ilian Powery, your Miss Universe Cayman Islands 2023. Do you want the opportunity to help shape the future of youth and sports in the Cayman Islands? All you have to do is complete the National Youth and Sports Survey found at gov.ky/YSP. This is your chance to make a lasting impact on our community. Have your say today, Cayman, at gov.ky/YSP.
This announcement is brought to you by the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Heritage.
You know what I love to do with my family? Go fishing. I can put the bait on and cast and reel the line all by myself. My mommy and daddy say when they were little, there were plenty more fish to catch, but now there are lots more people fishing, so it's harder to find them. That's why we have marine parks now. They set some areas aside so the fish there can have babies and grow bigger. Then they swim out to other areas where I can catch them. Having the marine parks means there will still be fish there when I'm grown up and fishing with a family of my own.
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us, and thanks to Ms. Denise Myers over at work for joining us and having, including the regiment and, in absence the RCIPS and the Coast Guard. I think they're ably represented by a fine set of a uniform branch in the form of the fire service. If I might, though, Lieutenant, when we were looking at career, sometimes we see things a certain way. Now, there is not a school child that's in China who doesn't know my view on a regiment, but that's an aside. We have the CERT program, which comes part of, a great complement of training. But then we have this formalized military-like structure within a regiment that talks about, formal training, discipline. But many people may not appreciate that there are other facets to it. Would you help us to?
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
So there's a lot of inner workings within the regiment. So to make an organization like this work, obviously we need HR individuals, finance individuals, and like myself.
Yeah, just put okay.
Sorry.
No, thank you.
And like myself, you need training officers and assistant training officers. So for me, my role specifically is to plan robust training programs for the regiment and to deliver those or facilitate the delivery of those programs to the reservists or the full-time members of staff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting role in itself, but then obviously we have individuals like operations, G7, so like finance, and then communications as well. So it's not just an organization where you see us out on the street all the time. There's a lot of people working behind the scenes to make sure that this organization can operate the way that it's supposed to operate.
If it's okay, the training that you would do locally, what would that look like? And if it's okay through the fire service to maybe share some of that, so people appreciate that you're treating the body, the soul and the mind. But the training, we see the police very prominent with their training exercise, even there when there is a parade, what they do through their sector. But the other training, is it okay to share what that would look like?
So with the regiment right now this year, we've dropped down to one training session a month. Obviously, because we're a reservist organization, we can't demand constant attendance from individuals from multiple times throughout a month because they have a full-time job and families to take care of. While their position is still paid, yes, it's a stipend, so it's not enough to support them without their other full-time job. So what that entails is it entails our HADR, so our humanitarian aid disaster relief training, your USAR, so the urban search and rescue, and we've also just recently introduced medical training. So we have trained up 8 team medics who are going through a CPD with Doctors Hospital to enhance and further enhance their training, and the majority of them are reservists, as well as we offer first aid training to our own internal reservists, and now we're looking to also assist HMCI with training their CERT teams who are now going to be attending our training sessions once a month to try and develop new skills, and we can evaluate and determine whether those skills are to be deemed competent, and then HMCI is able to sign off on it. So it's not just us that we can train, it's also fire service, police service, who are also involved in the team medic courses and any other courses that we try and facilitate. We always offer out invites to the other services to make sure everybody is on the same page.
And as I look, to the future of the country, you're talking about nation building, if all of us as individual citizens of the society are able to have certain skill sets, not just in the aftermath of a hurricane, for instance, but just being able to be good citizens while we travel, knowing CPR, having a sense of presence and calmness in an emergency situation might help that individual in a residential setting, for instance. And then the sort of cross pollination between the police, the regiment, having all of these. Mr. Ebanks, though, if I might, that sort of brings me back to the fire service, and again, a perception from a distance where you're training the things the officers are sort of not only introduced to, but become competent at over the years. Sounds to complement the regiment, but leads to...
Yeah, well, it does, and it creates interoperability as well. Initially, our training program for new recruits starts. It's about 24-week program. They're about to complete it right now. We have 22 new recruits, so we have that. Of course, on shift, we also have additional training daily basis. I mean, there's so much more things that you can work on. Chainsaws, we actually did a course with the regiment, chainsaws, working with those tools. We also work with the police, hazard management, those things. Like I said, on a daily basis, constant training, keeping up with calls, especially now we have electric vehicles coming in, so we have to do training on that. So on a daily basis, no 2 days are actually the same at the fire department. So we do those, lots of training. It's training.
And this is where our parents would always say, ounce of prevention is better than pound of cure. Better to be prepared and then to be caught flat-footed. Having that constant training by the local otherwise allows you to respond here, or even if you need to be seconded elsewhere. All right. I would like to come back to Mr. Ebanks, but Ms. Myers, from that perspective, your district days and you're targeting the uniformed services, any particular age group? Is this for the 16-year-old, or you have to be 25? I mean, what's the age group?
Well, we're looking, it's just alongside with having the uniform group, we're also planning to do registration of persons because we also offer programs. And so our age group usually starts from 17 upwards. And of course, Caymanians, and we're asking persons when they are coming along to just bring a valid picture ID as well as proof of immigration status, voter's ID will do, and their resume, so we can assist them. So this is one aspect of what we're offering, because there's the program side too that we have, such as Ready to Work, and we have a TVET program side of it too. So we just want them to come out and just have a conversation and see if there's anything that appeals to you, and let's see how we can work together.
Yes, I'm told we have a call joining us. Let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dwayne.
Hey, hope you're having a great day.
Yeah, you too, man.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Exactly what you guys talking about, Dwayne?
Okay, well, I mean, I didn't do my job effectively. So we have from work, WORC, they have their district days coming up, and starting on Monday. And from work, Mr. Denise Myers from the regiment, we have Lieutenant Lawson, and of course, Mr. Henry Ebanks, the station manager over at the fire service. And it's going to be, for job seekers and potential job seekers, an opportunity to not only, find out about the uniform services. In addition to these two, the RCIPS and the Coast Guard will also be in attendance.
Okay.
And
I hope you all hire a lot of young Caymanians.
That's the intent. That's the intent. And along with having the uniform group with us, we also offer programs. And it's all about, getting Caymanians in the right field, as well as, getting them job ready, getting ourselves job ready, for the market. So there's resume writing, and there's the, ready to work, of course, which addresses interview skills and, other areas, exposure to what the world of work is like and the expectations. But we are choosing this time to highlight the uniform groups. Last year we did the construction, and we are partnering with other companies, other private members of the private sector, just to make persons become just more aware of what is out there. And hopefully, there's something that, persons can resonate with.
Yeah, because we young people these days, they have it very hard, Especially when they speak about stress, depression, and anxiety.
Yeah.
Our young people have a lot of that to face these days. So, getting them work and letting them feel like there's hope in their own country is the best thing you all can do. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much. And I think this is where, having representation, having participation, but also feeling like you belong. I think, Mr. Ebanks, that's something that is evident when you are part of a fraternity or brotherhood. You feel like family.
Yeah, definitely.
The same with the regiment. You have that. If I might ask, though, Lieutenant referenced the different components, but within the fire service as well, it's an organization that requires much from its staff, but including some of the areas that they might be involved in.
Okay, well, we have the domestic. We have 3 sections of the fire department. So we have the domestic. We deal with car accidents, house fires, brush fires, that cat in the tree. And we also have the aviation section that deals with all the movements of the aircraft. And then we also have fire prevention. Fire prevention now is doing inspecting of plans for all the buildings that we have, going around inspecting for liquor license renewals on a yearly basis. So those are the 3 sections we have at the fire department. We also have the control room that dispatches the aviation section, working along with ATC at the airport.
And air traffic control, right?
Air traffic control.
Okay, thanks. And with that, as I sort of follow you in my mind, the different aspects, could a fire officer, is that the right term?
Yeah, fire officer. Firefighter.
Would that person then maybe get in the initial stages of his or her career exposure to those 3 areas and then be able to choose to maybe specialize?
Yeah. They'll be exposed to all areas: control room, aviation, domestic, and fire prevention. We actually had 2 guys that were recently promoted to the fire prevention section, where they were firefighters on domestic. They did the relevant training, actually went overseas on their own, with the support of the fire department as well, gained the accreditation that they needed, applied for fire safety inspectors, and they were recently promoted to that section.
Yeah.
So there is room for growth within the fire department, within the different sections.
And I would imagine, help us to confirm if there's a misconception. If there was a fire, there would be some sort of, in addition to the police and whatever other investigative aspect that would take place, your officers would have to look at it to determine certain things. I mean,
yeah, that's part of the fire prevention section as well. They're certified to do fire investigations, cause and origin. There's courses that they've had attended overseas to get certified for that. So they are investigators as well.
And I think this is where Mr. Denise, as I listen, maybe some of us are not aware that much of what we see on TV, as those glorious, glamorous careers, will exist right here. You could be that arson investigator. You could be that training officer at the military academy that you may fantasize about on some television show. Just right there, skill sets that are transferable.
Yes, so many careers, fall under the uniform group. So I'm inviting as many persons as possible to just come out and to find out what are some of those careers. I'm leaving it kind of the cliffhanger dangling because I want persons to come out and don't hear everything right now.
Right.
But we also have the Jobs Cayman portal at work, and persons. Oftentimes, if they're looking for someone, they advertise with us, and in order for persons to access that, they have to register with us. So we want as many persons to come out and just talk with us, just find out what there is, and what suits you.
All right.
And I think I'm not sure if
we have one quick break, and then we take some calls. I think that's fine,
Okay, that's
and then I can see if my chocolate is ready. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
In life, the more you have, the more you have to lose.
The more you love, the more you worry.
The more people rely on you, the more you have on your mind.
I have peace of mind,
knowing that whoever I care about
is protected by the very best.
With Sagicor Life of the Cayman Islands, you'll have critical illness coverage and life insurance to help you protect what matters most. Call 949-8211 for more information.
CUC Advisory. Customers are advised of a scheduled outage on Tuesday, April 9th between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. for Point Dexter Road from Melrose Landing to the security gate at Patrick's Island and all side roads. For more information, please contact CUC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email service@cuc.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us, and to Mr. Myers over at work, for bringing along two of the members from the Uniformed Services in the form of the Ridgeman, Lieutenant Lawson, and Station Manager Ebanks at the Fire Service. Before we quickly continue, we were told we have a call. Hey, welcome, thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon again, Dwayne.
Welcome back again, man. Welcome back again.
Yeah, no, I got another question.
Maybe we have an answer, but 4 heads are better than one. Let's see.
Yeah, concerning the Coast Guard, does the Coast Guard have their own helicopter?
I would ask anyone who wishes to answer, but them not being present, I won't speak for them. But I'm told that both of the helicopters are under the auspices of the police.
Okay, and I have another question.
Okay.
Concerning the police helicopters, do those helicopters have lifelines on them?
Again, if I would be a good diplomat and politician, I would refrain from answering on past. No, I don't know, but Mr. Ebanks?
No, I can't speak for that.
Likewise, sir. But it's a good question we could ask. And when you say lifelines, what does that mean?
All right, for instance, if a boat is capsized in the ocean, do they have lifelines? They're able to pull the people out of the water to save them from drowning or save them from sharks eating them. And then if they was to have a fire, like say, on a 10-story building, would they be able to assist people off the building with a lifeline from the police helicopter?
So what you're sharing is the image I'm seeing is here's the operator, one of the members in the helicopter rappelling down to the vessel in the sea with some sort of bucket or basket, but instead of getting crabs, they bring up somebody. That kind of image?
Yeah, because those types of things have saved a lot of people.
Right. If I could, before Ms. Myers, maybe on behalf of the public, maybe ask you, put a call into the police and just ask that question, then let us know if you get a response between now and the next 90 minutes.
Or you could come to one of our district days and speak with them because they'll be present and ask all the questions.
Okay, I'll mention it to one of the members of the assembly.
Right.
Even though no members of the assembly have any real power or authority over the police force besides the governor. But I'll mention it to him because I think it's very important. I don't think if a helicopter goes out to the sea to save somebody and the boat is capsized and the helicopter gets there before the police boat, I don't think it's right for those people to lose their lives because the helicopter doesn't have a lifeline.
Yeah, well, again, maybe call and question them and then see if you can give us an answer of what they share with you, if you are able to, But good questions, great points. But anything else you want to share?
I mean, we're surrounded by the ocean. This is something they should have thought about. And it's very surprising that they don't have this. Very surprising.
So are you saying definitively that you know that they do not have that?
Well, from what I'm hearing, it doesn't sound so.
Okay. Well, I only again would ask if you could have time. Just put a call into them now and see if they will answer that. And then you can call back and say you called, you spoke to so-and-so, and this is what they said. And then, maybe at the job fair, as I call it, coming up in the district days, they might be able to answer other questions that lead on from what you've asked. Information is key. Sharing the knowledge is empowering.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want someone to be on the top of a 10-story building and they can't be saved besides something like a helicopter with a lifeline on it, and then the government doesn't have that. That wouldn't be fair to people.
Yeah. No, I think I hear your passionate or your impassioned plea, but inquire and let us know if you would, please.
I will.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, too. And again, questions being sparked by perhaps information being shared. Now, for the public, Mr. Denise, if they want to be a part of it, tell us what the district is.
Yes, so on the 8th of April, Monday, at Bodden Town, we'll be at the Webster Memorial United Church Hall, and we'll be there from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So we're inviting all persons from that area to come out and to just meet with members of the uniform group and to just find out more. And the 10th of April, we'll be in Georgetown by the Constitution Hall. Again, it will be 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And on the 16th of April, we'll be in West Bay, and this is at the John Gray Memorial Church Hall. And again, it's at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So we're inviting you to come out. Now, East End and North Side, we will be partnering with Needs Assessment Unit And as you know, the Needs Assessment Unit, they have been going, throughout the different districts. And so on the 19th of April, we're inviting persons again to come out to be registered with work, East End, and that will be in the morning, 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. And we'll be north side with the Needs Assessment Unit at 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. That's on the 19th. So the 8th, Barton Town, Webster Memorial, and on the 10th, Georgetown at the Constitution Hall, and on the 16th, West Bay at John Gray Memorial. So please just put those dates in your calendar and come out, and we'll be there. Again, we're just to remind you, bring valid picture IDs, proof of immigration status, that may be a voter's ID, and bring your resume with you when you're coming. And this is from ages 17 upwards. We're encouraging you to come out and see what our programs are, what we're offering, what's coming up shortly from work.
And for that individual who doesn't have a current resume or doesn't have a resume,
that's okay, still come, because we do, the part of our program is we do try to assist persons in terms of putting together a resume.
And given the hours, say in those first 3 months, 9 a.m. to midday, are these mostly for those who are either off that day or unemployed?
Yeah, and if you, you can always reach out to us. We have this telephone number, which is 945-9672, or you may email us at work.training@gov.ky and just ask whatever questions, and we're always there to facilitate you. You can always come to our office, and we will sit with you and walk through certain things with you, whatever it is that you're unclear, whatever information that you're looking for. Please don't hesitate. Just reach out. That's why we're here. So it's 945-9672. Just give us a call.
And if I may find out, as you referenced the sort of the proof of immigration status, is this then for any and everyone who's legally on the island, whether they're working with someone on a work permit or whether they're otherwise?
We cater mainly to Caymanians, and that's our drive right now.
All right, thanks. Well, before we ask you for final thoughts, Lieutenant Lawson, any other points, anything else you may want to share with the listeners?
I think I've shared enough for now. Wait to the district days to have any more from you.
Thank you. And, an officer and gentleman, but we got both. Mr. Ebanks, sir.
Thank you. Well, I just want to encourage all young Caymanians to come out on the district days. We'll have our bright, shiny trucks there. We'll be dressed in our Frying the Press uniform, so come across and you can see what intrigues you about the fire department or any of the other government agencies. So just come on out on the district days and we'll see you there.
And thanks both of you for coming. I believe my colleague earlier left me with instructions. Did I pass the mark, Lieutenant?
I think so.
I think I was a bit gentle, I think.
And I'd like to say thanks for hosting us on behalf of work. We really appreciate the fact that you have allowed us to share with the public, and thanks to these two gentlemen for coming out.
Yeah. I got a message that said, the other representatives from the two respective agencies of the Coast Guard and the Fire and the police, why they didn't come, because they didn't realize who you were sharing on the radio, and they didn't want to look.
No fault of theirs.
No, I was just going to try and make a joke.
Yeah.
These two are too handsome. They didn't look as good in uniform.
Yeah. Because of the time length and everything, we just thought, okay, we would just, two persons from representing two areas, so persons would have an insight as to what we're going to be bringing on
their respective district days.
Right.
People will get to see, the able represented.
And we don't want to put everything out there. We want a little suspense. So persons will come out. That's the intent.
You should do a social media training then, so they don't put anything out there.
All right.
Well, thank you, Mom. So
Thank
we'll remind, if you wish, on your behalf and your colleagues, our listeners of the district days, be a part of it. All right, we'll pause and we'll take a break, and when we come back, we invite the listeners to be a part of it. Please stay tuned.
Covering Little Cayman, Cayman Bride. Cover me.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
With a look at your latest news, I'm Dwayne Ebanks. The trial of 4 people charged with the 2016 robbery of Royal Bank of Canada in Georgetown is scheduled to resume today. Elton David Webster, Elisa Webster, David Samuel Bodden Jr., and Stanton Clark are charged for what the Crown alleges was an organized attempt to rob the bank. All defendants deny the charges. The 10-week trial started on the 19th of March, now in its 3rd week, is presided over by Acting Justice Roger Chappell and continues in Courtroom 1 of the main court building. In regional news, Guyana Attorney General Anil Nandal says Guyana will be seeking global parliamentary support for its border dispute with Venezuela, particularly following the Southern American country's latest claim that the Essequibo region that makes up about 2/3 of Guyana and is home to 125,000 of its 800,000 citizens. Nandal said Georgetown welcomed the support given by delegates at the 148th Inter-Parliamentary Union Assembly in Geneva last week. Nandal, who is also the Minister of Legal Affairs, had represented Guyana at the conference and told viewers that he intends to write to all countries that indicated support for the Caribbean Community country during the IPU Assembly, urging that they raise the matter in their respective parliaments. The Haitian-based media association SOS Journalists on Tuesday said it considers the situation scandalous that after 14 years the case regarding the murder of journalist and political commentator Jean Dominique remains tied up in the judicial system. Dominique, 70, the outspoken owner and director of the independent station Radio Haiti Inter, was shot dead by a gunman on the 3rd of April 2000. The station's security guard, Jean-Claude Luciant, was also killed. The SOS journalist, in a statement, said that it is high time that the judges of the court fully assume the responsibility so that justice can finally be done in the case of the double assassination. That's a look at your latest headlines. I'm Dwayne Ebanks.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When you have a sports or fitness-related injury, trust the expertise of the HSA Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic to get you back in the game. Our internationally trained and certified physicians specialize in sports traumatology, sports medicine, pain management, and orthopedic surgery. For treatment of common injuries such as tendonitis, arthritis, tennis elbow, rotator cuff, or knee tears, schedule a consultation with the Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic at Smith Road Medical Center by calling 949-8600 or visit hsa.ky for more information.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman Brac, on the 8th day of July 1936. Captain Fred Elman Scott was the 5th child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Captain Scott enjoyed a fulfilling career at sea spanning more than 50 years. He was ahead of his time, employing his mathematical and computer skills to create payroll software, depth charts of Georgetown Harbor, and his pride and joy was his weather program that could detect when a storm formed anywhere in the world and was able to track and forecast its path. He had 6 children and was married for 52 years to Bernadette Silva, whom he met during his tenure in Brazil. In 1954, when Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II visited, Captain Scott had the distinct honor shaking the Queen's hand and piloting the Royal Yacht Britannia and anchored it in the Georgetown Harbor. Captain Scott was a humble man who liked his khaki suit and cap and loved to share his knowledge with those who crossed his path. He was honored at the National Heroes Day, acknowledging the seafaring heritage of these islands.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And again, on behalf of WORC, WORC, their district days starting on Monday the 8th in Bodden Town, and then, of course, the 10th in Georgetown and the 16th in West Bay, 9 a.m. to midday. I will remind you, but had an opportunity to, through them, be reminded of service above self. And it's the same as I say that as we speak to Mr. Remeli, welcome. Later, I think many of us look at and see this notion that, to whom much is given, much is required. We see it in action through you, genuineness, and as your counterpart makes her way to the table, we'll join her. But from your perspective, our community and why your involvement and why now? Why does Ms. Welcome get involved?
Good evening, all. We have seen and experienced a lot of issues in our communities, a lot of concerns in our communities that are going unnoticed.
Okay. Just pull your mic just one little bit down, this part here.
A little unnoticed.
Okay, go ahead.
Am I good now?
For me, you're perfect, but we have people. Yeah, I think so. He'll tell me.
Okay. Yeah, so it has come a huge concern, and there's a lot of times that things have been reported into the proper parties that who's supposed to assist in resolving these things, and it has gone unnoticed or turned a blind eye to. And a lot of it happens that it affects so many people in our communities, and what it does for our communities, it's on a whole different level.
And as you're sharing that, is it sometimes that people are neglectful, whether it's a person in that position of power authority, is it including the parent, or is it that there's so much happening, there's so much, that we are not able to be responsive in a timely way?
I would say neglect.
Neglect.
A lot of it is neglect.
Okay.
From different parties of government agencies, the police. I would definitely say a lot of it is neglect.
Okay, well, that's something that can be addressed, right? Maybe we're inattentive, maybe we're, oblivious to it. But if we can look at it increasingly, we can understand it. So we'll share with that. You want to do the honors, or should she introduce herself, Ms. Carmelita? What do you think? Pull our mic close to you, Ms. Carm.
Sure. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and Radioland. My name is Carmen McField, and I'm part of the Caymankind Action Committee. I'm the deputy chair of to Ms. Romelia. So I'm usually the person that sit on the back end of the organization and doing all of the field work, all of the reports, everything else, the sponsorship, and do the documentations. And just to give a little background about myself, I started Prospect Community Group over 16 years ago. So my years of doing community service, with being part of the Girls Brigade, being part of the community in general, the Prospect community in Georgetown Central, it's an honor basically to be on the radio today, and it's an honor to continue to assist the Caymankind Action Committee. And Caymankind Action Committee, just to give you a little history, we started that organization over 3 years ago, but we have always been doing field work in the community prior to starting and setting up the NPO. So the NPO is fairly new, but it's not new to, our work is not new. We have always been doing the work, the field work, the groundwork, and hitting the ground running with all the things that's necessary. And to reiterate on what Ms. Romelia mentioned earlier, she mentioned about the group doing various things in the community that is very pressing and very, I would say it's a time of desperation for a lot of persons that's suffering from issues that's currently happening in our community. And Ms. Romelia, maybe you could touch a little bit on some of those issues, and then I would interject in what it is.
A good tag team for it.
Yes. Okay. We have what we call speakeasies. Speakeasies is, for those of you who don't know what speakeasies is, it's when a location, a group of people at a location starts to sell illegal alcohol, drugs, illegal gambling, numbers, loud music. That is all put together and called speakeasies.
So before you go on, was it a time when we used to refer to something similar as sessions? Are that the same, or that's a different?
Sessions is different, because in sessions we used to be like late hours at night.
Okay.
This is all day. and all night.
Any day, every day, all day long.
Every day, any day, all day long.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, and what we learned, experience as well, seeing coming from that, it contributes to unrest, unsleeplessness, blocking of the road. Emergency vehicles needs to get in, and it would cause an issue. And some of the times you find that in these areas, we have seniors living in these areas as well, and ambulance needs to get into them. It's further off because of the cars blocking the streets, along with other illegal activities that are happening. Also, it tends to attract unwanted, undesirable people, and it downgrades or devalues our communities at the end of the day. What we do is they have instructed us many years ago to start community, to have the communities to come together and create community committees to resolve the issues in the communities. What we have found that once this was done, and we get to the root of where the problem lies, and we start to hold people accountable, we are no longer admirable. We are no longer wanted to hear from, because we detect the problem is the people who are hired by government to take charge of these things, and a blind eye is being turned to it.
Okay. So if I might ask then, two things. You said they told us to form these committees. That infamous they, who are they?
Well, we have like MPs
Okay.
who would come together and say, well, okay, let's form a committee instead of everybody getting to one or bombarding them with issues, even the police as well, to come together and form, because they were a big part of helping us form the committees. And it is very sad to see at this point in time, since we have formed committees and the police is like not active with us the way they should be.
Yeah. Well, from listening, I mean, that advice from they to form these things sound very, very sensible. The community resolve its problems, you get to know the neighbors, you see where issues are, you take responsibility, you're accountable for your area. And then you also said, you see that the people hired by government not, taking action, not, I'm not being, facetious, but again, who are these people? I don't want to sort of infer incorrectly. So when it's the they, okay, great advice, but when it's the people who are hired by government, who are those people that are not responding, who are turning a blind eye? What was your phrase?
Well, we have the police, we have DCI, we have planning, and we also have immigration as well.
Okay.
I think what needs to be done is that we have a task force form of all of these agencies and get out into the communities. They'll never know what they will come up with, what they would find. People on island illegally, drugs, guns, all of that. And that's what these speakeasies tend to attract. People, there have been numerous robberies. Some the police are aware of, some the police are not aware of. It will create issues such as fights over money or over gambling loss and what have you. That's why I strongly believe that things of such should be nipped in the bud before it escalates.
Right. So if I may ask, and I certainly appreciate a number of things, you bringing this to the public. Maybe many of us know, with respect, we probably participate in some form or fashion in it at some point, or we pass by and, that's them, that's, no harm, no fault. But also, by you sharing that, you having sort of the courageous spirit of saying to people, is this the communities that we want? What are some of the consequences of these actions? So I'm hearing you share as well that not only is the speakeasy itself and the activities, the selling of alcohol or the other things being illegal, there are other illegal activities happening at this illegal thing.
That's right.
But then,
yes.
Wow, okay. How long, to your knowledge, has this been going on? Is this something recent in the last bits?
Yeah, so according to records, or I would say information that was transpired or forward to us, it was, I would say, in certain areas of Georgetown, in other districts also, it is roughly around 7 to 8 years. I would say that these had started transpiring, and it's not the majority of the persons that doing it are not only local persons. They're the ones that contribute into it because their properties are being used to do these transactions and these illegal activities. But it's also persons here on work permits or here illegally, overstayers. And we find that if we get together with those the person or the agencies, the government agencies that Ms. Romelia mentioned, such as our police, and we work collaboratively with our police. If we get together and work collaboratively with Works or the Immigration Department, I'm not sure, I'm thinking more of Works that has those group of persons that go out and do raids and so forth and see who the persons are, the enforcement aspect of it. And then we also have the persons like the DCI who issues license or determine who have license to do such activities or operate such businesses. If it's legal, if you operate in a store or you operate in a bar and other illegal things is happening in those organizations, do these persons have license that's up for renewal, or the persons have license or not, or don't have license? And what are being who are watching those persons with these license, who are actually holding them accountable and actually coming to do investigations when they get these reports. I want to also touch on the fact that we have our seniors who's greatly being affected by this, really being effective. And we're talking about seniors, persons past the age of 75, 80 years old, that are not being able to rest, whether day or night, and mainly at night. When your senior lay down at night at 10, 11 o'clock, they're not getting their proper rest and they're complaining, calling the police station and making reports. And they find that the police do come out, but the reports are not accurately reported or recorded or actually reported at all. So the seniors are making these reports, and the reports are not actually there in the system like 24 hours after when we ask, can you confirm the reports are there? There's no report. There's no report being recorded. And that is not always the case. And we're not here to beat up on the police. A lot of times we do have great police officers and police beat officers that are out there in the public doing a great job. And we want to work collaboratively with them as the NPOs or the group of persons that doing these community outreach. Right. But we tend to have a lot of challenges where the seniors say they make the reports. Now we're finding that the seniors are coming to us making the reports, and either Ms. Romelia or Ms. Derlene, who's from the Department of Children and Family Services, who is also responsible for community outreach, and her department, the seniors are reporting to her or her department, and then they call and make the report to the police station, and no efforts are being made to resolve these. So the seniors are not getting the just.
So the quality of life potential, their safety, I mean, there are other, consequences of what's happening. Two questions immediately.
Yes.
One, why do we think that nothing is happening? I mean, if you make a report, say, to the police or you reference another government agency, and seemingly from what you're alleging, there's no effective or no timely response.
Yes.
No accountability. No accountability at all, because I have learned and I have witnessed for myself. I would call and make a report of, let's say, a speakeasy. But matter of fact, for the month of May, I did four calls to the police, got my RMS number regarding speakeasies in a community, and the police comes, not aware that I'm there personally watching what is transpired. Then you would find that the police would sit and chit-chat with them a bit and drive away and leave. Situation as is.
Now you reference, go ahead, sorry.
So when I would call and says, I'm calling regarding this RMS number, can you give me a follow-up? They're telling me, oh, the officer attended and there was nothing found. There was no loud music found. The roads were not blocked. And that's the kind of inaccurate information that the police is going back with. But my thing is that if you have so many reports of the same said thing, and the police is coming back all the time with the same said story, nothing found, nothing, no loud music, the road wasn't blocked, anything, doesn't that sort of ring an alarm? Something is wrong somewhere. Why is this person keep on continuously reporting the same thing over and over and over? Who holds these officers accountable? Who would say, well, let me check this out for myself to see what's actually going on if my officer is being honest? What we don't have anyone.
Now, just to understand as best as we can, an activity is taking place in Area A. Loud music and parking and blocking the streets and the things that you have alleged. The report is made, the police responds in a timely way, but when the police gets there, music is off, cars are gone. Is there any evidence that you would have, videos, photographs, whatever, that would say, well, listen, when the police came, this is what they found because this is what was there when we reported it? Do you have anything that to substantiate the allegations? In terms of videos, photos, or anything?
Well, we have photos. We take photos and we even share with the police. We even went as far as to share some of these concerns and photos to Her Excellency the Governor, Ms. Jean Owens. And we recently had a meeting at the DCI board with Mr. Noel Williams and two officers.
That's the liquor licensing,
The liquor
right?
licenses,
Okay.
yes. Reached out to also to DEH because they're selling food at these locations, alcohol, and they don't have no permits whatsoever. So we do have evidence of what we're portraying or what we're saying. We do have evidence of it, but at the end of the day, the police is coming out saying nothing is happening.
So just for my benefit, not to belabor it, you're saying that some things like this is transpiring. You have, pictures, videos, whatever, evidence to say this is why we're calling. The police officer responds in a timely way, and this is still occurring, but the report is going back saying nothing was found. That's what you're alleging.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. The other question I want to ask then is that, sorry, Ms. Carmen, you wanted to?
No.
Okay. May I?
You ask.
Sometimes, as you referenced, there are a lot of different agencies, planning, DCI, DEH, all the police and all these. Who should we report to? Sometimes we don't know, well, is this a planning issue? Do we call DEH, the liquor licensing board? Is there an entity? Many times we call the police as an aside. Sometimes in the Westway community, I know we'll call the fire service for everything. Those guys are just fantastic, right? I have the greatest love, admiration, and respect for them. And they get it done. They know who to call. They respond to the thing. But many times it probably wasn't their, sort of job description, but they got it. So in this case, with all the different things that you were referencing, who do we call? You can't call Ghostbusters, right? So who do we call?
Well, that's the thing, because we have been reaching out to planning. We've been reaching out for we have illegal structures. They build illegal structures to house these activities. So we have email trails to planning. We have email trails to DCI with the selling of alcohol and food without a license, a proper license. We've reached out to the police numerous of times. DEH has been reached out to because in the loud music, I understand, falls under DEH and the food. It's no approval for the food, which I know that is between DCI and DEH as well.
Now, the other thing you referenced an RMS number. For those of us who don't know what that is, What is it, and why is that important to get whenever you make a report to the police?
That's like a record locator. So you would ask whenever you call the police on a issue, you would say, or to make a report, you ask for your RMS number, and that will be able to give you time and date of your report and what your report consists of.
So part of the record management system, you call in and you say, I want to report about this. The person on the other end, supposedly, is this how the system works as you understand it, takes your information, takes the complaint or the thing you're reporting about, and then logs it in their record system, and then your number is this, and then you hold on to that. Sort of your locator whenever you're trying to track a package or,
yes,
whichever. Okay.
That's right.
Thanks for letting us know. See, we learn things, right?
Yes.
It's Macfield. That's where your job comes in as part of being that supporting, coordinating aspect to make sure that you're not just frivolous in making it, you're not you personally, but as a community. For those who are listening, though, some would say, well, geez, just let people live. I mean, man got to live, man got to eat. This happens everywhere all the time. Big deal. Get with the times. Why not? Why not in Cayman?
Because we got to look at the mere fact that our country, we're never this way.
Okay.
And if we continue down this road, we're looking at something horrific. We're looking at what are we teaching our younger generation? What are we teaching our children? Where do we see our country going in the next 10 years, 15 years? What do we expect from growth and development? What do we expect from the great reputation? Will it continue to have this great reputation? Will our country continue to go to shine as the 5th largest financial center in the world? What do we expect? How hard and how far did our forefathers bring this country? And I'm a Caymanian, as I say, and I expect better. I was taught to do better. And when you see things, we continue to go down that route to improve things. We don't turn a blind eye to things in the country and say, oh, well, just leave it alone. If we continue doing that, would it be a safe place for you to live?
So you're
in 5 years?
Yeah.
So we're looking at protecting and making and continue to make this country what it is, or where we came from, to make it a better place tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
We cannot continue this, and as I say, as a Caymanian and as a person that lived here all my life, I want to live in a safe and a great place. I want to say I'm from the Cayman Islands, and it's a beautiful place, but it's also safe.
It's a safe place that we had. Okay.
Yes.
It's not also our culture. This is not our culture. And another thing, when I go to whenever I visit the police, or the police is replying, it's not an arrestable offense. The loud music, all of these things that are happening in our speakeasies is not an arrestable offense. But when we go into our town and community laws, I say, well, officer, why aren't our town and community laws being acted on? So he went to speak to his sergeant and inspector, and they sent back and asked me, well, what does the town and community laws has to say about the loud music in these speakeasies and stuff? So we find that police or police officers need training of our town and community laws, or traffic laws. There needs to, if something is broken, it needs to be fixed.
Right.
And I think that this is where they're broken right now, is that we have a lot of these officers are not trained. And another thing is that you find our police force, the majority of them are Jamaicans. Not saying that I despise or I don't have anything against them, but I find that it's a norm for them where they're coming from, and it's their culture. That's how they were raised up. It's okay to smoke weed anywhere they feel like. It's okay to play loud music in every creek in every corner. That's not what we are about. And so when they find that here, they tend to turn away and say, oh, they're just molesting people. No, people want to rest. Your home is like your heaven, where you're supposed to be at peace. And it's not happening. It is not happening. You hear some tell you, oh, human rights, they can't do this, or human rights, they can't do that. No, that should not come from an officer, not when it is breaking our laws. My colleague here can go into the town and community laws with where it states that.
So when Romelia mentioned that to me, I said, well, I don't understand why an officer would explain that, or anyone actually, because when I really read the law, it is basically, it's an old law. It was revised 1995 revision. It's quite an old law, and it's a lot that perhaps need a revision or needs to be looked at again to be upgraded. But it mentioned under Section 4 of that law that constables may apprehend parties offending on views. Example, any constable may take into custody without warrant any person who commits any of the offences under Section 3 within view of any such constable, and in like manner, when the offenders is unknown without warrant, may take into custody any such offender who is charged by any other credible person who recently committed any of the said offences, though not committed within view of such constable, but within view of the persons making such charge. So it's mentioned there. So I don't understand why not, instead of making an excuse, I would say, to say, oh, it's not. That is a lot. It's not acceptable in any country that I know of. In any country that if you're breaking a law, if you're doing of such, it's pretty much not acceptable. So it's talking about morals and characteristics and behavior and the way that you conduct yourself in any public place or any place. And even if you're here on a work permit or you're a Caymanian or whatever the case is, it's the way it's what we accept as a country. Are we going to continue accepting this?
Yeah, and as you share that, I mindful of sort of the cultural nuances, and I think there were time or two before the courts where the magistrate threw the police a case against a lady who was buying and selling numbers. And she said, well, one, I think, according to the Compass report of the day, it was for her cultural norm. She didn't understand it, so seemingly ignorance of the law was a defense. And then the other one, the fine was so low that she didn't think that it was warranted. We do have a call, my friend. Is that what we're taking? All right, let's take this call. Ms. Rumeli, welcome, together with Carmen McFeeler, our guest, and they're from, I think they're part of it, that Kind Action Committee. All right, stay tuned as we take this call. Welcome, thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon again, Dwayne.
Welcome back again, man. Hey, good to hear from you. Thank you for listening to us, man.
Okay. Well, concerning these ladies, making a few reports concerning what they were speaking about. If the police don't do anything about it, and they continue ignoring these people when they come and make such reports, these kind of things can lead to arguments, and then who knows, it might turn physical, and then someone can get hurt. And from my experience with the police we have today, it's best to speak to our own Caymanian police and those that are in charge, such as sergeants, because a lot of these foreign police that they have here in the Cayman Islands, they do not have any respect for Caymanians. And I have proven that more than once. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing that. We have a quick break, and then we can continue. Ms. Carmen, Ms. Romelli, thank you both for being the stalwarts, and maybe through your actions, others will join and demonstrate similar courage. All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters. for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Hey there, K-Man. Have a few minutes to spare? Your Ministry for Housing has just launched the public survey for the Cayman Islands Housing Policy and Strategic Plan. We are all about making our island home even better. We need your help. It's your thoughts and ideas that will shape our housing policies for the future. Your voice matters, and it's easy to get involved. Just visit cihousingplan.org and let your voice be heard. Plus, you could catch some cool gift cards just for sharing your ideas. Don't miss out. Open through April 16th. Head to cihousingplan.org or go to the Ministry's Facebook, Instagram, X, or LinkedIn now and be a part of the conversation. Your input matters more than you know. Let's make Cayman's housing future brighter. Together, your voice, your future. Take the survey today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks to the stalwart women in our society. If I might, through Miss Romelio and Miss Carmen, reference that fantastic statue that is in town, and the likes of the late Miss Georgette, for instance. People like her, thankfully, who have served, who've encouraged many of us, from our sisters and daughters to our mothers and grandmothers, who recognize the need. So I say that to say thanks and to show my respect personally, Ms. Romelli, and to you, Ms. Carmen, the idea that you take a stand, literally, you speak out. I would imagine that there are some people who would, I think, Carmen, you said it, they're making trouble. But if you don't do something that you think needs to be addressed, it may not get action, and it may become like that sore, just fester, and then one day that niggling pain becomes something that leads to your demise. Just
Yeah.
like a person, just like a society. We do have a call, Mr. Carl. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon to you, Sterling.
And to you, man. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. Thank the Lord.
He's
And,
merciful, yes.
Yeah, we give thanks. We give thanks through the cloudiness and the murkiness and the noisiness. Is that a word?
Noisiness?
Yeah, noisiness.
Oh, if it isn't, it might be coming now.
We just made it.
We just made it.
I just would like to sing the chorus and the prayers of both Romelia and Carmen. Hello and good afternoon to both of you lovely ladies.
Good afternoon.
I hope I know well. I notice I said Anna. I hope I know well. And I just want to stand and applaud you both. I've listened intently. I want to join you and let you know that you're not alone, that there are many of us that see and hear what it is that you all are seeing and hearing. I love your responses to the question about why we should do this to Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
It is certainly not cultural. And we're not trying to be cultural police. It's not cultural to the Caymanian soul. This notion, and let me take it a little further. So you're dealing with it in communities. I'm seeing it in businesses in the center of Georgetown. This notion, for example, of playing music outside of the door. Every store got music. Restaurants got music outside of the door in the night in certain areas. It is just madness. And so, from a cultural perspective is one thing, but part of our culture is some sort of a calm soul where we're able to just hear ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and so Sterling, as they were speaking with you, in addition to getting angry on the inside and trying to not suppress it, so hence this
You could see
call.
that? I'm sorry.
Hence this call, because they touched a button that I think many Caymanians, if we're honest with ourselves, can identify with these ladies, and I thank them again and can't thank them enough, and say to you, don't stop, because these are pertinent issues. You're not tearing anybody down. You're not dealing with people's personal lives. You're dealing with our culture. You're dealing with who we are as a people. You're dealing with what the law speaks to in regards to things like the town and country's law, etc. And it was powerful that you just read it a while ago, just in case the police are listening. But Sterling, that's what actually triggered my call. I'm listening to two Caymanian ladies in there telling you that they have had experiences, obviously multiple times, with police not responding in a fashion that they believe certainly solves it. It's creating situations like the caller last just said, potentially putting them at harm by potentially things becoming confrontational and personal. But also our deputy governor. I would ask that you make calls, Sterling, if I may be so bold, to both our deputy governor and to the police, either with the view of bringing them on, because I think we're on to something here. And the deputy governor, because he's responsible for the government agencies, not so much the police department, although he is being the deputy governor, they're under the direct purview, as I understand it, the chief of police to the governor. But the agencies that she's referencing, the DEHs, and that's another thing, well, let me finish the thought, the DEHs and the DCI, they need to be asked, well, why are we getting so many complaints about businesses that are not abiding by trade and business, are not having them? Are we getting enforcement officers? And I remember the DCI specifically. One, because I used to be part of it, and that was the mandate in terms of where we were going, getting officers. Are they going out? Are they doing those things? Are we seeing those? We want to actively see this, because if we all can see it, then certainly they can. And they need to know that there's a public who's expecting it, but not expecting because we're trying to be mean, but because, one, that's the law, and we all need to be equal under the law. You know what I mean? And so the deputy governor should be asked, why are you, is there some questions being asked? Why are the agencies being called up in this manner? Why do we have citizens in a citizens group who've been complaining for a very long time and not getting any results? And especially if they say they have, the proof to be able to indicate that. And the police themselves or even these agencies can do, their personal stakeouts in order to see, is there anything germane here? Is there anything legitimate here? It's that sort of thing. And I joined them in that chorus of not letting it rest because it's anti-Caymanian soul, the very essence of who we are. And if you're taking it into the communities, never mind the center of town, and again in the center of town I'm seeing it. In certain areas, and I'm glad that they're bold to say which culture it is that is certainly impacting most.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even going to have to justify that statement because as a Caymanian, it's vexing. It's vexing that we also have leadership who is ignoring it because there's a part for them to play as well.
Amen.
It's vexing to the Caymanian soul. Thank you for allowing me to speak it. You ladies, congrats and keep it up.
Thank you so much for your encouragement.
Thanks for sharing. And for those, we gather one or two of messages saying they can't get through. The phone lines are available 949-8837 or 949-6990. And the WhatsApp call as well, 925-3261. So please try but this is where I think people want to see something that is a semblance of what we think maintains a safe, civil society, that sense that's being eroded.
That's right.
And then people listening may misunderstand what is it that's being shared. You're just asking for laws to be enforced for behaviors that run counter to the cultural norms to be recognized and addressed.
Correct.
That's correct.
Right. But then the caller made a salient point as well. What happens if there's a confrontation? The person said, hey, this happened, another person responds, and then it becomes an issue. We have a break, but as we go to the break, I want to maybe share what I was reminded of the last caller. A police commissioner not long ago, on air, he said, when it comes to the selling of numbers, we may think it's innocuous, it may not be no harm, but what happens if someone, gets robbed or gets shot?
Yeah.
This was not long ago that he said that sitting near one of those chairs that you're at. And we've seen, incidents since, not just one, but sadly many.
Yeah. We had a situation like that a few years ago, not a long time, in a very common area in Georgetown, where a gentleman, a lady that encouraged that same behavior of the speed easy that Miss Romelia mentioned, her son was killed because of them doing illegal activities, and he lost his life because he was part of that, and it was a money issue, and he lost his life.
All right, well, let us pause, and then we invite you to share with us as you wish. Please stay tuned.
Thank you.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what, though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have our very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Shop the Brand Source Home Gallery Senior Citizen Sale.
In honor of our seniors, Brand Source Home Gallery is offering a 15% discount now until April 6 on appliances, mattresses, plumbing and bath fixtures, lighting, ceiling fans, kitchen cabinets, custom closets, and more. And I heard right, 15% off store-wide.
If you are over the age of 60, you can purchase for your family and friends. Just show your ID. It's that easy to save 15% with the Brand Source Home Gallery Senior Citizen Sale. Visit Brand Source on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, or call 623-5000 for details.
This is Rakeem Lashley, and I work in the water and wastewater sector. I am concerned about the vulnerability of our island's sewage systems to climate impacts. Flooding is becoming a bigger concern due to rising sea levels and more intense rainfall events. This can compromise sanitation systems and put the health and safety of our people at risk. So protecting our environment and strengthening critical infrastructure are priorities. To learn more about the climate risks to our islands, visit www.gov.ky/climate change policy.
The Rotary Central Spring Storytime, Saturday, April 6th at West Bay Public Library, 10 a.m. through noon. A free storytelling children's event featuring Eric Magician, sing-along, Miss Izzy. Exciting art and craft, prizes, refreshments, goodie bags. The Rotary Central Spring Storytime, Saturday, April 6th at West Bay Public Library. Children must be accompanied by adults. Rotary, creating hope in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Ms. Really welcome, and together Ms. Carmen Mikefield. We do have a call or two, but Ms. Rebellia, was there something you wanted to share?
Yes, I want to thank the caller that last call in. He hit the nail on the head. We reached out to urge DG, Mr. Mandison, love him to death, but at the end of the day, we took him on a tour of these local or Georgetown districts, and we point out to him a lot of stuff, illegal activities, number selling areas, and especially the Eastern Avenue location in our barber shops. You have a lot of number selling going on, and other illegal activities was brought to his attention. And at the end of that tour, he stated he would form a task force to attack these issues. He couldn't believe what he learned in less than half an hour. And I said to him, I says, that would be great. That's exactly what we need. But we also need a community advocate on there as well. And he says, okay, Miss Welcome, I will call you. I have not received a call up to this blessed day. So
But, I mean, he's busy, so maybe, this was just recent?
No, this is years now. Years now. This is over 3-4 years. Oh, now that we took him, and we also took the previous commissioner on tour, the past commissioner, on tour of these said locations. And I feel like nipping it in the bud, it will stop it from festering. We had a few years back, a prison officer lost his life in one of those numbers location where they sells gambling numbers. They went to rob, and he was there. If the police, and this happened after we brought this to DG and the the last commissioner's attention. If they had acted, I believe in being proactive. And they're not into being proactive. And then as soon as things happen, they're running all over the place trying to get information from this one or trying to get evidence from that one. Why? Why not take it and handle it, take care of it before it happens?
Right. Let's take these callers. You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Very, very thankful. Thank you for sharing.
Good afternoon to you and the beautiful Humankind Action Committee.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, lady.
Hi, Romelia and Carmen.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Baba.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to personally thank you and Mr. Erlin and Carmen for coming to our aid when no one else listened. You are a voice that we could cry out to as seniors, and you got the job done. We have a lot of issues. For me, I live on McPhee Lane. I've been living here all my life. And it's like what Carmen stated, our country was never this way. I have issues with the loud music from 2 bars. I've cried out to the police. I've called the station numerous times. They have came. The music would be cut down, and by the time they get out of the area, it is streaming high again. This has been going on now for years. We put up chains that they can't park in our yard, and they cut the chain and come in and park as long as they want. The only relief that I have got, and I thank Mr. The chairman of the Liquor Licensing Board,
Noel Williams.
No, Mr. Noel, this week, the music is reasonable. I can sleep. I have had the music so loud in this area that some nights I will be up until 2 o'clock in the morning when they cut the music off and go home. I have to lie down in my bed many mornings and say, my God, am I supposed to live at this at my age? It's ridiculous. And then we have, in the Slim McPhee Lane, they have fixed the road and the cars is speeding. I've seen them overtaking each other. They park on the sidewalk because apparently some of the landlords don't have tenants for them, so they park on the sidewalk. I had an issue where a car was parked there that the garbage couldn't be picked up for 3 weeks. I had to call environmental health to get them to go and speak to the car owner and move the car. And this is the many issues that we seniors are dealing with in this island. And we are so thankful for the Cayman Action Committee that they are the voice that is crying out for us. Romelia and Carmen, I love you guys, and keep up the good work. Sorry I couldn't be there today.
Love you too, Miss Barbara.
Thank you, Miss Barbara.
Okay.
Thank you, Mom.
Bye.
But if the community is hearing, I mean, she's sharing, it doesn't matter the individual, but if you're living like that, that must affect you in many ways, you know. And then, as she shared, thankfully we have community citizens. But then if we listen to, where are the rest of us? Where are the authorities and addressing these issues? Do we take the other calls, sir? Okay, welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for calling.
Thank you too for listening. I do have that same noise in the area where I live in Lower Valley. I spoke to someone the other morning about the noise. I was so ashamed. I had to bring tears to my eyes. We had an elderly lady that kind of made Lower Valley, and she was 93 years old. She passed away like 2 weeks ago. And it was so disheartening to hear the music. The only thing that separated her house from where the music was a road. And I said to myself, if I could just change my clothes and go down there and say to the people, listen, have a little respect for the elderly. You came and you found them in that area, and I think you all need to do. I'm sick of calling the police, and apparently they're going to, okay, hold a minute, we'll put you through to the headquarters. No one asked me to get a recording. I'm not sure what is happening, but I did know that the police station be closed. I thought someone would be there to answer the phone. Every time you call, if it's an emergency, you get through to the dead people. Leave a message, I'll call you back. And I am so sick and tired. I mean, it was Good Friday. There was music playing after 12. Where's the police? Can't they patrol around on the main roads and see what is happening? I mean, I am so tired. I've been into that district area now for like over 50-odd years. And what I have seen and heard, it's ridiculous. And something needs to be done because they're older people, still want to enjoy their lives. And I think the thing is, they should have a little bit of respect for the people that they came and found there. I am so sick and tired. I had to call one night. I told the police, I said, listen, if you don't know where these people is, I will change into my dress, come and get your officer, drive with him and show him or tell him where the music is. And then about 10 minutes after that, it was cut down. They know where the music is, but they're not doing their job because you know what? They're just like them.
Thank you. And I think maybe there is somewhere that disconnect plays in, as she was sharing. There was long ago when someone passed in the neighborhood. If that person passed away, there was a sense of quiet in the community out of respect, for that lost loved one. After the break, can we talk more? And you share directly with us as you wish. All right, please join us after the break.
Thank you.
Yesterday,
today,
always and forever.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Dwayne Ebanks. Melbourne Junior Dyke entered a plea of not guilty for the charge of overstaying on Tuesday in summary court. Dyke, who is incarcerated at His Majesty's Prison Northwood for previous offences, says he was never made aware he was overstaying, and had he had known, he would have made attempts to secure a legal status to remain on island. Dykes was represented by Brady's attorneys at law, who asked to be removed from the case after instructing Dykes to plead guilty. Dykes will appear back in court on the 30th of April for an update on his case. In regional news, St. Lucia police are investigating circumstances that led to the discovery of the bodies of two men at a settlement near a landfill north late on Tuesday. In a statement, the police said that one of the bodies had been identified as Bernato Stephen, the son of Rufus Stephen, alias Brico, who was killed last year in Vieux Fort. Last year, authorities were forced to close schools in Vieux Fort following an upsurge in violence and murder. In Grenada, the public relations officer of the main opposition New National Party, Emmeline Pierre, says she intends to contest the leadership of the party whenever the elections are called. Pierre, who is also the parliamentary representative for St. Andrews South East constituency, says once a position remains vacant, she'll put herself forward to fill it. NNP and opposition leader Dr. Keith Mitchell said last September that the party will not be moved into calling a long overdue convention because, quote, some people's personal interest is behind a convention. He's been the NNP leader since 1989. Mitchell, who led the party to defeat in June 2022 general election, said that the convention would only take place when the party is satisfied that it is ready for the political event. That's a look at your latest headlines. I'm Dwayne Ebanks.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks to Ms. Romelli, welcome, and Ms. Carmen Myfield for joining us. And you're sharing this I got a couple of messages from others. You did say at the outset that it's not just in the Georgetown community, but it's happening in other districts as well. So for people who are listening, you're not just lamenting about something that is, peculiar to your area. This seems to be across, if not the entire country, at least the entire island of Grand Cayman. The lady just called prior emphasized something similar. So what do we do about this?
But Sterling, I spoke, I remembered when they had Inspector Ling move from West Bay and came to town. He implemented where they would do up these forms and serve these people who are making these loud music. They would go and serve them and warn them as a warning. And the second warning, they would go and give them 2 warnings. And the third warning, they would take them, if they have, it's a third time, they would take them to court and have them prosecuted. And I spoke to him last weekend, I think it was. And he says, Miss Welcome, that's still in effect. It is still so that just tells me that the police refuse to use what resources they have to get the job done.
Okay. Can I read this message? I have to put on these things so they must help, This listener shares, so your guests are right. Right here in Central West Bay, there's a large crowd of people daily who are doing the same thing right behind the Church of God. So the police is well aware of the situation and have not, got the activity has yet stopped. After the recent police meeting in the district, many people complained about it, and there was an arrest for the drugs. But nevertheless, the same daily activity continues. They even cook up their crack, in the road, which at times the public road is inaccessible. And for the tour bus operators, this road they use to take tourists to see the only remaining scenic section of the 7 Mile Beach. Now, implicit in that is an acknowledgement that something's happening. There are ineffective resolution according to citizens. There's a tourist component who's seen this. A lot of implications, but I think for me it resonates more when that lady who just called said, wait a minute, at this age, this is how I got to live in my neighborhood. Wow. So help us to put this in context. Help us to know how we can partner. What can you share more?
So I sympathize with the lady. I really understand, because I've had a few persons from the Lower Valley and the Savannah district called me a few months ago asking how they could set up a committee for our community group for their district. And I told them they could always, they call me whenever they're ready so I could walk through the process. And we would perhaps partner with them to have persons from each area, whether it's a particular road or from a district or from a area in their Bordentown district we call Savannah, that's considered Bordentown, and have them partner with the Cayman Kind Action Committee as an committee member from that district to bring their issues to us so we could then help them address those issues. And how we could help them address those issues is we figure out what the problems are, how it would relate to their community, and how we could address those issues in their community. They could partner, we could come up with solutions, and then we could help them. We could be the voice and everything to help them fix those problems. We cannot say the way that we fix it in Central or North Song Road or West Bay would be the same way that we could fix it for them. We would have to tailor those situations to how we could address those problems for them. Every situation, every problem has a different solution to be fixed, but it could narrow down to it's a similar way that we could resolve those issues. We have to speak out, and it works. Coming in numbers and coming together as a collaborative group works best versus an individual or a family member or a person from our community trying to fix it on their own. It doesn't work that way. So I find when we partner with each other and we come together collaboratively, we could resolve many issues as a community. We have to work together. We have to bring that hone into that family and that caring and that loving way on how we work together and resolve issues. Resolving issues on your own and feel that one man is not an island. It have to be partnership. We have to partner with each other and come together and say, how can we grow muscles and pull each other by pulling each other, lifting each other up. Yeah. And that's my simplest way to explain to the public.
You get ownership and accountability. Yes. Everybody responsible together.
And we would like to share our contact with the lady before the segment ends. We would like to put our number out there, and we will share that. We do have a number for the group. Not our personal numbers, but we do have a group number, and we will share that number with persons listening that want to reach out to us, to partner with us or find a solution or share some of their issues, and then we could come together to partner with them.
Well, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Shramelu?
Yes, that's a very awesome speech, Carmen. I think that is the key right there, because together, there's a quotation that says, together we stand, divided we fall. And I think we really need to come together as a people, and not just only as Caymanians, but we have a lot of other Caribbean nationalities that are living here as well. So together we can get things done. Together we can hold people accountable and work on ways of solving these issues. I want to bounce back to what these is contributing to these speakeasies as well. You have work permit holders, people who are on work permits at these speakeasies, selling alcohol, drugs, and numbers. Where does immigration come in? What play? What accountability are they? What process are they doing to make sure that these things are not happening? Because someone would go out and take out a permit for Carmen. Carmen is saying that they're doing this job, working here at Radio Cayman. Carmen isn't working here at Radio Cayman. She's sitting down at these speakeasies selling all of these. How can we get the immigration enforcement more involved in our communities?
I want you to repeat that again to make sure that what you're saying. A work permit has been legally granted to a person to do a job at some place, but they're not there. There's actually, are you alleging that it's complicit between the person who took out the permit, that the intended role will actually be over here versus the declaration as to what?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it's correct.
And have you made that allegation to work with, George here is working here, or is it just an accepted fact and everybody turns a blind eye to it?
Well, we haven't. We discussed approaching enforcements with this. We haven't gotten the opportunity as yet to reach out to enforcement or to have a meeting with enforcement, but that's on the agenda because we find that a lot, and they themselves finds it when they do come out in the communities, and they would find people working at other locations which their permit is not on their permit. What the reason that they have the permit?
I guess, as you shared, if something like this continues, a few messages have said this may be the norm in some countries, but in some countries or in certain parts of some countries, these behaviors would not be tolerated. So why is it being accepted here?
Another question?
I'll leave it to you.
We are not some other countries. We are Cayman.
That's right.
We are unique in our own way. Yeah. This is our country. We have to take ownership for this country. We have to set our rules and regulations, our laws, and put it down. And that's set in stone. And what our laws are, we have to abide by them, by those laws. This is when you go to Rome, you do what a Roman
That's
do.
right.
And at the end of the day, if we as a small country, we are like a little dot on the map. We could only take so much and no more. And if we overflow with everybody else coming in with their own rules and their own way of doing things because they've done it back in their country, what are we looking at in the next in the next 10 years, 5 years, 15 years? What are we looking at? What are your expectations for your future? Do you want to grow old in your country and enjoy it and have peace of mind? And your children could come back to a place that it was what it was back to when you were growing up, and a peace of mind also, and have a place that they could live and don't have to put barriers on their doors or bars over their windows and so forth. Mm-hmm. And we're about putting fence and wall like certain places in Europe, in South Africa, and those other places where the walls are over 12, 13 feet high. And they have bars on their doors. And I'm talking about here are neighboring countries in the Caribbean here. We're talking about Jamaica, Cuba, and many other places. It's the same. Do we want to get there? So let's go back and say, this is Cayman. We are a small country, and the country could only take so much anymore. And we cannot accept everybody else's rule. We have to set our rules as lawmakers, when we expect our lawmakers to set those rules, and we all abide by them rules. Right. And rules that will be satisfactory to all of us. Rules that would make sense to all of us.
Correct.
Well, let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling. We have Miss.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, Dwayne and panel.
How are you today?
Good afternoon.
I'm fine, thanks. Unfortunately, I can't get online to see who is here today, but whoever that lady was just speaking immediately before taking my call. I wish I could just reach out, grab her and hug her and squeeze her.
But you can give her a virtual hug. That's Miss Carmen McField and her colleague, Miss Romelia.
Carmen,
welcome.
That is right. That's why the voice sounded so familiar. Go, Carmen. I couldn't have said the words much better myself, and I am going to continue listening to this discussion because we really need to have this. We honestly, Cayman is at a crossroads right now, and we need to grasp our situation and try to turn it around before it's too late for us, because we are just being... I don't even know what to say right now without trying to say the wrong thing. So I'll leave that with you guys and continue.
But thank you for listening. And we can
Great talk, Carmen. Great talk.
Thank you.
Thanks for commending her. Let's take one more. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you and your guests?
Excellent. I'm in the company of very courageous, stalwart ladies, and reminds me of my mother, my sister, maybe one day, my own.
Well, they are no doubt very, very courageous, and they are making their points, I think, very eloquently. Now, I just want, I'm a Caymanian who never became a Caymanian. In the sense that when I was in Cayman, I started being treated like a Caymanian, because there were some times I was able to say, hey, look, I think this Caymanian, you're not treating them well. So they said, well, so you are talking on behalf of Caymanians. I said, no, I'm not talking on behalf of Caymanians. I'm talking on the side of justice. And if justice falls on the Cayman side or on your side, that's all I'm concerned about. But so that's how I wound up really being passionate about this subject, because I've also suffered some of the things that Caymanians have been suffering. Now, this morning I listened to one minister who was on OC's show. And he was talking about the same issues about how do you get your legislators to be able to do certain things relating to job preferences, behaviors in the community, and so on. And I think I would suggest that you listen to that. I know your last caller did listen to it because she called. Actually, I called immediately after she called. The truth of the matter is that we've got to a point in Cayman where there is now a disconnect between why you elect people and what they do. Okay? If you listen to that minister on what he said today and what he has said on other occasions as well as other people, the problem really is that there's no political will for the ministers to do anything. And the part of the problem, and I will tell you in relation specifically to the government, your deputy governor is part of the problem. He is not just failing to do some things, but he is the cause of some of the problems. Because he is the one who has told the government, you can't tell me who to appoint. Your constituents might want jobs, but you don't have power to appoint. I'm the one who has power to appoint. Now, this is a long topic, but let me end on simply saying this. what in Cayman now is people you have to address is that since your government is not, your elections are not changing anything, talking the way I'm doing like this and the way other people are doing, talking about it on radio is not changing anything. And the reason is because there are interests in government, and this minister talked about it, who will not allow the government to do what you, the people, want. And I think it's now for you to decide what you are going to do. Don't wait for the elections because it doesn't matter. The people who are in charge of Cayman are not you, the Caymanians. It is not the people who are in cabinet. It is people who are higher than that. And I think that's what you need to be able to address now. How do you get into people action to get them to do what you want? That's where we are in Cayman.
All right, thank you. Thank you for listening, for sharing. Mr. Call, where are we going to call? All right, welcome. Thanks again for calling.
Hey, the gentleman previous. Good afternoon, ladies, and good afternoon as well.
Good afternoon.
The gentleman that just came off the line, he actually took the wind out of my sail. Unfortunately, he just took everything I was about to say. I'm like, dude, stop.
So you support what he's sharing?
One of the things that we do share. One of the things that I do recall growing up, and I heard Miss Baba eloquently talk, and I remember growing up, and the people nowadays don't have the respect and the fortitude for the senior citizens of this island. Number one, when we were growing up, if my mom wanted to have a birthday party for me and she knew that she was going to have a DJ or whatever, we will let the whole neighborhood know. And we also let the neighborhood know what time that music was going to be cut off. And when that time that music was going to be cut off, and I could guarantee you, my mother would go chop away the electrical cord if it wasn't turned off by that time. Okay? And that was the respect to the neighbors. Nowadays, no one's respecting that. Now, with all due respect to the RCIPS, now look at the amount we don't have as much, I should say, per people that's there anymore, right? So if you go and I'm having a procession at my house, and you come and you and I from the same district from a different country, yo, boss, man, just turn it down or turn it down for a little bit, and as soon as I drive it goes right back up again. The respect is not there, and like what the lady said earlier, back those days when Rocket used to have session at Swamp, they will come and warn you the first time, yes. The second time, if they come and warn you again, if it's the same DJ a different week down the road, and the third time they come and warn you, they taking away not just your they're not going to call you just to court. They're going to get the truck and take away your sound system.
Correct.
And you cannot go to court and plead not guilty and say it's not yours. Because then it's impounded and they get to keep it. Okay? And I've had in my neighborhood where this same incident happened, and it was funny enough, I came home from work and they parked in front of my yard, blocking me from getting into my yard. So I apparently walked up to the party and I said, guys, excuse me, do you mind if you move the vehicle? I need to get home. I've been out for the last 12 hours. Let's park outside the road. And I said, sorry? Wow. I'm like, do you mind if I just need you to move the vehicle? Just move it up a little bit so I could get in and you could block me in. Boss, on this park it. I said, boss, let me explain something to you. And I have a car that has a push ram like what I have the police cars on in the States. All I did was got my car, went inside the house, got the chain, and I was attempting to tie it to his car to pull his car away. By the time he saw that, he ran and moved his car. And I said, matter of fact, I called Bordentown Police Station. I said, I need everybody out of this neighborhood right now, or I have a Malinois and a pit bull, I'm going to let them loose. And by that, between a half an hour, everybody was gone. And every time now they have in session, they'll come to me and say, sir, we're having a party. I'll say, okay, what time are you going to be done? Because now I've made a precedence to it. And it's not happening anymore like how it used to. Low Valley, every place else. What I would suggest to you ladies to do, and like the gentleman said, is higher than us. It's higher than my pay grade. What we should start to do, what I would suggest to you ladies to do, is have a town hall meeting where the representative of that district would be able to meet with the people of that district so they could see the people face to face, and if they don't answer to the demands, then they know what is going to end up happening coming election time.
That's right.
So you just put the feet, just say, listen, we're going to have a meeting at Bartontown, east or west or north or south or whatever they call it nowadays, like we're in somewhere else, and that representative show up. If he doesn't show up, then they have a representative for them. They take notes, and they take minutes of their notes, and after that, you respond back to them in kind via email to say, these are what we've seen. This is the stuff the bullet points that we have taken up. How can you address this within the next 30 days? And then you go back to the people with that. If they don't address it in the next 30 days, then they have something to answer to. So you ladies are doing a really good job, and keep it up. And the locals, we got you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
not a
much.
problem.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks for sharing. And as you respond, just quickly, one of our messages from the listeners, saying that they similar experience a bad weekend. The same problem with loud music. I went on till 4:45 a.m. and then before she could get to sleep, the music was taken over to the beach. Lots of children around, a lot of profanity, and and the like, and not just expletives, but just the lyrics speaking about the female body and the like. Now, this seems to be a common occurrence across, well, at least as you shared, not just the Cayman Islands, but definitely on Grand Cayman. So it's growing. The gentleman just shared, he attempted to address the issue himself. Thankfully, it didn't go any worse, but this could be something that escalates, and worse could happen.
Yeah, but pretty much what is this is just a thought, and we throw around a few solutions that we thought would work from previous incidents. I personally think, and that's just my thoughts, of sometimes you got to make an example of, we got to start somewhere. If we keep talking, as they mentioned, talking and talking, we're not going anywhere. That's just like a hamster on the wheel, just spinning around, and he's really not going anywhere. He's just spinning. He get fatter, or he's
spinning top mud. Eh?
Yes, spinning on mud, pretty much. So this is my thought: is maybe we need to make an example of one of these situations. I think if the representative listening, whether it's representative right through our countries, or whether it's the premier or whoever, something needs to be done. So that means that we come up with something. If there's a group of persons, we are not law enforcement. We can't enforce a law. We can't go in demand because we are not appointed by the courts.
But
or
even
by
if
the
you
law.
did bring an action on private nuisance, that's a legal cost and expense.
Exactly.
And time. We have the police and apparatus to do that.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the thing is that we need to come together again as our group and build our group stronger, and then we come up with solutions. We bring those solutions from the various problems that we identified, put a few solutions, which we do have jotted, a few solutions we have on pen and paper that we think would work because we have seen it, we have played it out, we know, and see where it goes from there. Ask them, can we get this support?
Right.
We need them as law enforcement to do that. Collaborative effort, as I mentioned earlier.
I'm told we have the final break, and then we can come back and continue.
Okay, great.
All right, stay tuned.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before with more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks to Ms. Carmen McField, Ms. Romilly, welcome for joining us, and to the callers who commended you for leading this charge. Maybe others will be inspired. I do apologize, Ms. Carmen McField. We were just taking the break. You were, going to propose some solutions. Mm-hmm. Would you willing to share them with us?
Yes.
Okay.
So back at it. So the solution, we started to propose a few solutions because a lot of times it seems like we're just talking and we're spinning the wheel and not moving forward. So a few solutions is that we put together a group of persons, or a task force. Mm-hmm. Whether that task force is a group of a few individuals or a few persons from the various departments, the government departments. That task force would be dealing with a lot of these community issues at hand. So whether we to really to really test whether we are going to be proactive to fix the problems. And that is what we were asking, we're pleading the persons that listening from the government departments to put together a task force. If that means hiring more individuals for the various departments, if that's 2 persons per department, to create this task force to work with this with the community group, not just us, but we seem to be the only community group on island that really enforcing a lot of these things, like derelict vehicles, the things to mitigate and to stop the crime and all of the various things that's happening. We are the ones that pushing and trying to enforce the problems that we've seen are occurring or has occurred over the past and continue to occur. We're the ones that trying to really fix this and speaking out on it. And it's not going to get any better if we start to leave. That's like having a wound, and it starts to fester and pus. And if you don't treat that wound, it's going to get worse. And eventually, if you're diabetic or something happens, it's going to get infected and you have to lose a limb. And that's what's going to happen in our country if we don't start to treat the wound and deal with and fester it and put some Savalon or some kind of antibacteria on that wound and get rid of it, because that's what it is. It's a poison, and we have to stop and mitigate that right now as we speak and start working on it. And I feel that what we're doing, we're trying to really work and hash it out and identify it. We're seeing that it's a problem. We know it's a problem. And we have seen from the last 4 years or 5 years, we've been working as K-Mankind. And I could go back to 16 years ago when I started Prospect Community Group. Prospect is now under some sort of control. It's still a work in progress. I do what I could do in that community. I'm not the hem of that group anymore. I started to branch out and help other communities now. Started the St. Georgetown one. We started the Windsor Park, the various different communities. Prospect was continued to be led by someone else because it started.
Yeah.
We
empowering people.
birthed that. We birthed that, and now that baby has now been born, and that we move on from that, and now we go into to start to create new ones. Yeah. So we could start fixing, because this is how it works. This is how the country will not get any better if we continue to grow and leave our people behind. The country cannot get any better if we ignore those major issues, because those major issues, those small things that you call minute, will become major.
Yeah.
Eventually and very fast, as we could see.
Just fester.
Yes.
I believe we have one final call, Mr. Carl. All right. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I've been listening here, and it seems to me that there's a lot of good solutions being put on the table there.
Yes, sir.
But I wonder how would some of these solutions dovetail into what has been on the table for, I don't know, 20 years, 30 years, the district committees. And because I think having a lot of little sort of silos within the districts may not be as efficient in trying to do what needs to be done. Is if the district committees were active and doing what supposedly they were designed or precepted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think it's Mrs. McPhail mentioned 2 or 3 different, I guess, little committees or little groups that she is constructed or organized over the years. As far back as, and it was, I think, when the Constitution was being discussed, that was 2009, 2008. I think when the new Constitution came into effect, somewhere in that period, the West Bay Action Committee gave to the overarching group committee or whatever it was on that occasion, what, in fact, the day that it was handed in to the person who was managing that office, and just looked at the outline of what was presented to them, his comment was, this is let's see exactly how he put it. Anyway, this is a model that all these district committees should be sort of modeled after. But it was 2009, I believe it was that was when the new Constitution came into effect.
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
2009. So what is it? 19, 9, 5 is 14. So that's what, 15 years later. And I don't think there's any really district committees that what you could call up and functioning in any manner whatsoever, efficient manner. So I think that because you, like I said, I don't think the answer is creating all these little silo groups. Of course, they can be helpful, but I think the problem is bigger than that. So I think the answer would be to and the focus group or whatever you call it there, that thinking about being created, is to have as one of the main planks of that group or organization, or however you want to put it, to get these district committees up and running efficiently.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think Ms. Carmen was referenced that. Ms. Carmen?
Yes. So, Mr. Banks, yeah, I appreciate your comments, and you are correct. That was what I was alluding to. We would have the persons from the various areas or districts report their issues, and we would try to work collaboratively with them, and they would be part of that one group. Instead of us having these silos, as you mentioned, we would try to. I'm not encouraging it. I'm encouraging that we work collaboratively together. So we won't know what their issues are unless they bring it all together to the table and have that discussion, whether that's on a monthly basis or a bi-weekly basis. So that was my recommendation or my suggestion to that for the lady that called earlier when she mentioned about Lower Valley, is for her then to decide if she could get maybe two persons from her road or from her area to combine as a force, or to say, okay, we are going to be the face or the voice for this area, and report that then to K-Mankind, and then they would then be part of K-Mankind. But we can't. We're only a small group. We can't reach out to the whole island to fix the problem. Everybody have to work together, collaborately, and bring their issues so we could see, hear, and understand. We can't be all over the place. It have to be you play your part in West Bay, someone else play their part in West Point, West Bay. You play your part on what you call the area you live in, and then we just pull all of those various issues and just see how can we fix this issue in the area Mr. Banks mentioned versus someone that live Burt Street Hill near Ed Bushfield, and we using Ed Bushfield in the situation that happened with the shooting on the playing field. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's something that was festering in that area for many years, but we turn a blind eye to this. We need to nip it in the bud and figure out how we could just start making them see that we see you. We know it's happening. We're going to fix it because this is your neighborhood. You have to own it. You can't pick up your bag and say you're going to run to Florida or run to Europe and you got enough of Cayman, because you born bred right there in West Bay. Where are you going to run?
Navel string buried there.
And navel string buried there. The banks. You have nowhere else to run. So that's my point. That's where I'm coming from. You have to own what's yours.
I think it's a good effort, and I think it'll bear some fruit.
Yes, sir.
I mean, just got to keep it.
We got to keep pounding away at it.
Right. Yeah.
Keep on.
I think the district committees would be the.
But I do understand where you're coming from, and I do agree with that. Dr. Steve come on the radio many times and talk about these district committees. Is right there in the Constitution.
Yeah.
Never heard and never. For some reason, no one is actually acting on it or moving with it.
Never heard of Quay.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Wanks.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Ladies, publicly, can we invite you, individual, collective, or with the others? Let's have some continued discussion. I think you inspired much. I sense a pride and ownership, sense of responsibility. Mm-hmm. And as you shared, it's all of us that live here, whether we have ancestral links, whether we're hoping for Cayman status, whether we're a new work permit holder for the first time. We want our communities to be safe, for our elderly, but for our children, for all of us. Mm-hmm. And I think you're encouraging, you're inspiring. Hopefully, others would accept the invitation to be a part of it. Yeah. We can make it happen, right?
Oh yes, we can.
All right,
we can. I would like to also add to that we are very interested in people from other districts coming on board, and as my colleague here stated, collectively we can come together and see how we can help each other, and how we can can contact the government agency that is responsible for solving these issues together. So, as I stated, together we stand, divided we fall. And we need to take that stand because, and as we see that we have been falling, things have been happening, and our children are being exposed to these things, our seniors are being exposed to these things, and there's no peace, there's no rest, and we don't know any number can play. Someone get hurt trying to confront these culprits that are creating these issues. You understand? So that is why it's also why it is very important that when these kind of things are happening, that when we reach out to the police needs to respond. We urge and we ask. We don't know where else to turn. We don't know what else to do. We need the help of the police in our communities. And I think what I find worked best a few years back, we had officers on feet in our communities. We no longer see them anywhere walking around the place. Oh, they're driving by in cars, there's windows up, AC on. No, we want you to get involved. We want you to earn back that trust that has been lost between the police and our communities. We need the police in our communities 24/7, speaking, seeing, and just finding way to resolve these issues.
Thanks very much, Ms. Carmen. Any final thoughts from you today, Mom?
I just want to say thank you for taking the time to invite us here and for listening, and for the general public who listened in and also called and share their sentiments and their comments. You want to really ask, we would leave our number. We would want to ask anyone that's interested in knowing what we do and to reach out to us via WhatsApp or a phone call. We are here readily available. And just thanks again, Sterling. Really appreciate this time.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm going to have the invitation extended to you. What number? What's that number that you can call?
916-2751.
916-2751. And that's the Cayman
Kind Action Committee number, yes. Or if they would like to send us an email, it's ckac345@gmail.com.
Okay, ckac345 at gmail.com.
Right.
Thanks very much.
Thank you for having us.
And thanks to Mr. Carl and Ms. Uni for waiting while we went over a little bit. But it was important. I'll leave it at that. Tomorrow, we'll see you.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-60